My name is Julia Foster, and at 32, I've built a life I'm proud of. I'm a data analyst in Orlando, Florida, climbing the ranks at a top tech company and earning more than I ever dreamed. It's a far cry from my childhood, a world that fell apart when I was 9. My mom walked out on my dad and me after their divorce, leaving us to scrape by. I worked hard, fought for every opportunity, and thought I'd left that pain behind. But then one autumn evening, a knock at my door brought my past crashing back. My mom, having somehow found out how much I earn, showed up with my spoiled half-brother, demanding I hand over a fortune. I never thought my mom would find me, because of the money I make. Growing up in Ohio, my life was cleaved in two when I was 9 years old. My mom, Marie Stone, walked out on my dad, David Foster, and me. She'd grown distant, always distracted, until one evening she grabbed a suitcase and left without a word. Dad later told me she'd fallen for another man. The divorce was quick. She didn't just leave, she vanished, starting a new life across the state. Years later, I learned she had my half-brother, Caleb, with her new husband. She never called, never visited, only sent a yearly birthday card with a few cold words that stung more than they comforted. Dad poured everything into keeping us afloat. He ran a small diner, a greasy spoon serving breakfast and burgers, working from dawn to midnight. Some days he brought home less than $50. Rent was always late, and the fridge was often empty. I saw the worry in his slumped shoulders, the way he'd sigh over unpaid bills. Yet, he always made time to ask about my day, his voice a warm refuge. At 13, I couldn't stand watching him struggle alone. I started babysitting, then stocking shelves at a corner store, cleaning houses after school, even delivering newspapers before dawn. Every dollar I earned went to Dad for groceries or the electric bill. He'd argue, saying I should be a kid, not a breadwinner, but I insisted. It was my way of fighting back against the void Mom left. School was my lifeline. I'd stay late for the math club, poring over equations to drown out the hurt. Dad's words kept me going. You can do anything, Julia. You're stronger than our circumstances. But Mom's absence was a constant ache. I'd stare at her old photos, wondering why I wasn't enough for her to stay. By high school, I knew my way out was through education. I buried myself in my studies, and at 17, I won a full-ride scholarship to a state university for data analytics. That scholarship was my escape. College was a grind. I worked multiple jobs, waitress, office assistant, late-night cleaner, just to cover books and rent. I was up at 5 a.m. and asleep past midnight, always calculating, always pushing. By graduation, I had a degree, a stack of awards, and a job offer from a tech company in Orlando. Moving to Florida felt like stepping into a new world. I started as a junior analyst and poured everything into my work. Within 5 years, I'd climbed to a senior role, earning a salary that felt unreal. With my success, I never forgot Dad. I started sending him $500 a month, helping him pay off debts and fix up the diner. He'd protest, but I insisted. Every time we talked, his voice would crack with pride. "You're my greatest achievement," he'd say. Those moments meant more than any promotion. Mom, though, was a different story. Her yearly birthday card still came, each one a cold reminder. Happy birthday.
Hope you're doing okay.
No calls, no visits. Just those cards piling up in a drawer, stirring up the old pain. I thought I'd closed the door on that part of my past. I thought I'd proven I didn't need her. But some wounds don't heal, no matter how far you climb. One autumn evening, a sharp knock on my apartment door jolted me from my routine. I opened it to find her standing there, her smile wide but unfamiliar, my half-brother Caleb slouched beside her. It had been over 2 decades. "Julia, my sweet girl," she said, her voice dripping with a warmth that felt rehearsed as she pulled me into a hug I didn't return. We sat in my living room, the space I had made my own, but their presence made it feel foreign. Mom's eyes darted around, lingering on the sleek furniture and the view of Orlando's skyline. After some hollow small talk, she got to the point. "I heard you're doing so well," she said, her smile tightening. "Caleb's starting college soon. His tuition is $60,000, and we need your help. Just a little support, maybe $3,000 a month to keep us afloat." The numbers were staggering, but it was her casual entitlement that stung most. Caleb, still glued to his phone, finally looked up and smirked. "Nice place," he said, propping his sneakers on my coffee table. "But it's kind of small for someone making bank like you." This wasn't a reunion, it was a transaction. I asked how they found me. Mom waved it off, saying she'd heard things through old friends. Her vagueness set off alarms. I told them I'd need time to think. Mom's smile faltered, and Caleb scoffed, muttering something about me being stingy. They left, and I closed the door, my heart pounding, torn between a lifetime of anger and a foolish, flickering hope. I agreed to meet them at a busy Orlando cafe the next day. I wanted answers, but their eyes told me this wasn't about family. "Julia, I've missed you so much," Mom began, launching into a story about how Dad had made it impossible for her to stay in touch. "He shut me out," she claimed, her eyes wide with feigned sadness. "He kept you from me." The lie hit hard, twisting the truth I knew too well. Dad had begged her to call. "Caleb's future is at stake," she said, her tone shifting to urgency. Before I could respond, Caleb chimed in, "Yeah, I need a car to get around campus. Something nice, like a Mustang. And a new phone. This one's trash." "You're asking for a car and a phone on top of the $60,000? I asked, my voice sharp. "You're loaded, Julia," he snapped. "What's the big deal?" "We're family," Mom pleaded. "Can't you share a little?" I had worked for everything I had. "Dad and I had nothing after you left," I said firmly. "I'm not a bank." Her face hardened, her mask slipping. "You're so selfish," she spat. "I gave you life, and this is how you repay me?" The argument escalated. She raised her voice, blaming me for her absence. I shot back, years of hurt spilling out. "You left when I was 9. You sent cards, not calls. Don't put this on me." I stood up, my chair scraping the floor. "I'm done here. I don't owe you anything." I walked out without looking back. That afternoon, my apartment buzzer rang. It was them again, uninvited. "We just want to talk," Mom said, her voice overly sweet. I let them in, a decision I'd immediately regret. While I stepped away to get some water, Caleb went to my desk. When I returned, he was at my laptop, the screen glowing. My banking app was open. "What are you doing?"
"I snapt, rusing over."
"Just checking it out," he said with a smirk. "We were just curious, Julia," Mom said defensively. "You've got so much. Why hide it?" Her words confirmed my worst fears. They were after my accounts. I yanked the laptop away. Then I saw it, a forwarded email from Dad's account, detailing my job and salary, sent to her address. She had hacked his email. The betrayal was staggering, not just to me, but to Dad. "You hacked Dad's email," I demanded. Her face went pale, but she lashed out. "Your dad's a failure, Julia, running that pathetic diner. I had to know how you turned out so well." "Get out," I said, my voice low but firm. "Or I'm calling the police." "You'd call the cops on your own mother?" she hissed. I didn't back down. I held up my phone, my thumb hovering over the call button. She grabbed Caleb's arm, and they stormed out. "You're making a mistake, Julia," she warned. I locked the door, my hands trembling. The logs on my laptop confirmed it. Multiple failed login attempts, a browser tab opened to my bank's password reset page. I immediately called Dad. He confirmed his email had been compromised weeks ago. It crushed me to hear how she'd violated his trust again, but it hardened my resolve. The next day, I was in my lawyer's office. "This is serious, Julia," Mark Sullivan said, reviewing the screenshots and the forwarded email. "We filed for a restraining order, and within weeks, the court granted it, barring them from contacting me or coming near my home." The judge's ruling felt like a legal shield. Days later, my bank notified me of a failed $10,000 transfer attempt. It was her, still digging, still trying to take what wasn't hers. My security measures had blocked her. I reported the attempt to Mark, ensuring she would face consequences if she tried again. A year later, my life had changed. Word of my mother's actions had spread. Her own sister, my Aunt Ruth, reached out to me, her voice heavy with regret. "Marie's been like this since we were kids," she said, sharing stories of my mother's manipulations, her lies, her history of using people. It helped me see her betrayal wasn't personal, it was a pattern. My mother and Caleb became isolated, their friends and relatives cutting them off. I started seeing a therapist, Dr. Ellen Brooks. You've carried her choices for too long, she told me during one session. Through months of work, I learned to let go of the guilt I'd felt for not being enough for her. Her absence was her failure, not mine. Inspired by my own journey, I founded a small charity in Orlando, using my income to support kids from struggling families with scholarships and mentorship, the things I had craved growing up. My friends became my chosen family. My dad was my anchor. He'd visit my apartment, his eyes lighting up at the life I'd built. One evening, over dinner with him and my friends, I realized something. Family isn't just about blood. It's about the people who choose you, who respect you, who stay. And looking at my dad's proud face, I knew I had everything I ever needed right here.